Hey everybody, it's February 3rd, 2018, and it's the day before Super Bowl Sunday, and the New England Patriots are taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not going to say any more about that. You guys know I'm in Massachusetts. I think you know where I stand, and you probably also know that I probably stand against the rest of the country. I think everybody outside of New England is probably, unless you're a transplant from New England, I think everybody else outside of New England is probably rooting for the Eagles. Yeah, everybody wants to see them get their first Super Bowl, except for me. Okay, so let me, without further ado, this is a Flea Market Finds episode. I still call them the Flea Market Finds episodes because my regular viewers know that that's what they're gonna, look for, the ones who like these. But in reality, this is actually mostly tool store buys and maybe like one or two other peripheral items. But let me reposition the camera and let's get right to it. I've been looking at the used tool store, and what came up that tempted me was this little slice of heaven right here. So what we're looking at is a Starrett model 199 master precision level. So this level is very, very accurate. It actually says on here that 1 division on the bubble up top here, 1 division equals 0.0005 inches per foot, 1/1000th of an inch per foot. All right, so this is a 15-inch level. All right. Now, the other Starrett machinist levels that you typically see are what are called the 98 series levels, and then there's typically a number that goes with it that denotes the length of the level. So the longest level that I've owned as far as machinist levels go would be the Starrett model 98-18. So this monster level that's in this box right here is my Starrett 98-18. This is the level that I used when I was leveling my Vernon 14-inch lathe. Okay, so the 98 series levels are pretty easy to spot because they have this this whole section of the level right here with the actual vial and everything in it is actually a separate component from the main part of the level. Well, it's easily separated, I should say. I mean, there are separate components on that other level. We'll get to that in a second. Typically, they'll have this rotating tube right here, which acts to make a closable cover so you can shield the vial from damage, which is kind of a nice feature. They tend to have a second vial just like this and a third vial here. So there's a vial, I don't know if you can see that, there's a vial right here, and there's a vial here, and of course there's the main vial. So this is a model 98, and this is a good level, and for my purposes it's more than accurate enough. And this has done me, this is not the kind of thing that I use every day. It's the kind of thing where I'm going to use it to level machines, and once the machines are set up, it's going to be put away, and once in a blue moon, I'll take it out and recheck. That's the story on that. This is actually the second one of these I've owned. The first one that I ever owned, I sold because it was not in as good a shape as this one, and it came in one of these style level boxes for Starrett levels. This one is my 98-12-inch, 98-12, okay? You can see it's basically the same design. I guess on these smaller ones, once you get down to a certain size, you no longer have that vial in the end here. This is just the main vial and this one sub vial. So I had one of these in a box like this that was an 18, and then what ended up happening was when I got this one, I decided to sell that one and just keep this one. There was no need for me to have two. As a matter of fact, I really probably am going to get rid of this 12, and I haven't decided yet whether or not I'm going to get rid of this 18, because this is a really nice 18, and you don't see them that often with the wooden case, which is nice. But these Model 98s are not a master level. This part on the top here is actually called an insulator. And I believe the reason why they call it an insulator is because I think it actually acts to insulate your body temperature from the level when you're moving it around. So if you're moving it around and you're grasping it by this, you're supposed to, I think that's actually going to keep you from heating up this cast part and altering the. Can you imagine that the body heat, your body heat's going to make a difference? I mean, that's crazy accurate. So let's talk about this level and why I decided to acquire it. So the reason why I hadn't owned one of these Master 199s up until now was because I hadn't been fortunate enough in running into one at an estate sale, flea market, yard sale, or anything like that that I could get for an incredible deal. And that's just the nature of these levels. So then you're basically looking at, well, eBay. Well, once it's on eBay, you're in competition with everybody else. And there's enough of these that come and go on eBay that you can kind of see it. Kind of the demand is there, and the market sets the price. So you get a pretty good idea for what these are worth. Condition makes a big difference, and also, if it's got the original box, it makes a big difference. So this one shows up at the local tool store that I frequent, and he's got $100 on it, and he's firm on that price. And he should be for what it is, because this is the other thing too. Sometimes you buy one on eBay, you don't get a really good look in the photos, and then the thing comes in and you see something you don't like. What I really liked about this one was I was able to pick it up, look at it, and just really give it a good look. And other than an engraving here, which is not really that noticeable, this thing is clean as a whistle. Okay. I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up, but there is a ghost line right here. Okay. But I cannot, it's not really perceptible with my fingernail. And the scrapings are intact, all the scraping marks. Whereas if these have seen a lot of use, this will actually be worn in a way, and you can actually see that, you'll be able to see the wear. This thing's really clean. Damage. The only damage that I can find on the level is right there. We got a little flea bite right there. See it next to my fingernail? So not a heck of a lot. So it got bumped at some point right there. I believe that this part right here, this insulator, I believe this is still available from Starrett. So I think it can be replaced, as are the vials in case you break a vial. So it was really clean, looked really great. So I decided that, yeah, I'm going to go for it. But I think for the condition it's in, even without the box, it was a good deal. So I got there early and ended up getting it. And I mentioned to him, I said, I'm actually surprised that there isn't a box, that there wasn't a box for it, because all of these Master 199s, they all shipped with a box. And no sooner did I say that, and he said, I think there is a box there for this level. And he said, I'm going back in 2 weeks to that estate, because he had bought everything and he just hadn't moved everything yet. He said, I'll see if I can put my hand on that box for you, and I'll give it to you. I go back 2 weeks later, and he says, well, this is the box I was thinking it might be. And I was like, oh, heck yeah. Took one look at it and said, yeah, that could almost guarantee you that's the right box. It's got this breadboard joinery, or whatever they call that, I forget. Clearly marked Starrett. And then, as if there was any doubt whether or not this was the box, open it up, and right inside the lid, it's clearly marked number 199, master precision level. And then there's a caution. And then down on the bottom here, look at this. The original inspection certificate, still with it. How cool is that? Oh, love it. So I've got myself a Starrett 199 Master Precision level with the original box for $100. That's a good deal. Those of you who have been with me on my channel for a while now have probably already seen this, but I figure I'll bring it out again. This is the only other precision, well actually it's not true, the only other large precision level that I own. This I picked up at a Craigslist listing quite a while back, and this is a Pratt & Whitney, and it says made by Pratt & Whitney Company of Hartford, Connecticut. And this sensitivity is 10 seconds. It says one division is 0.0005 inches per foot. So it's the same rating as the Starrett 199, but it's got this really interesting truss design to the casting. This one doesn't have anywhere near as good a condition on it as the other one. But what's interesting about this one is I think this one is more collectible, rarer maybe. I've seen a couple of different guys on YouTube that did restorations on these, and they came out beautiful. So this one here, I mean, I hold on to it now. I was holding on to it because even in the condition it's in, it was probably my most precise long level. But I think now I'm not going to restore it, so I think now this might be something I'd be willing to part with. Just thought I'd show that because it's an interesting level. And what's also nice is I've got the original, one of the clasps is damaged here, but this is the original box for this level. I have no reason to believe it isn't, because it was with, the level was with this box when I found it. And then as far as precision levels go, this past summer, those of you who followed the really long Flea Market Finds series for that estate sale that I just kept going back to over and over and over and over again, at one point when I went back I picked up this level. This is kind of a neat precision level. This thing is like brand new. It has some stuff that was stuck to it, sticky stuff. I think what happened was it got warm, and that foam that's in there, so I haven't even cleaned this yet. I'm sure that'll come off pretty easily. But this is a EDA is the maker of this level. It's made in France. This one, again, it's French, so being European, it's in millimeters. So it says 0.01 millimeters per meter equals 2 seconds. So not quite sure what the resolution of that is, and I'm not that interested. There's a number 212 on the bottom here. I don't know if that's a part number or not. This is a shorter level. Probably hold on to this one just because it's a smaller version of a precision level. Looks like this might be about an 8-inch one. Yeah, it's somewhere around 7 to 7/8, so I don't know how many millimeters that equates to. I got that very cheap. I didn't think very much of this level, quite frankly, when I first saw it. I thought cheap import. I looked it up online. It's actually not that bad of a level. There's a whole part number right here. They call it a block level. Actually, here it says 8-inch block level, which is funny. And it says 0.0001/2 seconds. That's interesting. Huh. And then over here there's a number 61R Nouveau level. Yeah, they're saying that's 0.0001 inch per, where was I don't remember. Anyways, we're just talking about this level. So it's an interesting level. And then show you one more level as well, as long as we're talking levels. This is another one. This one actually I bought out of the same estate that I got this Pratt Whitney out of. This level, nice Starrett original box. This one right here is a small, what looks like a 98. It looks like a model 98. It's a 6-inch. But I actually looked this level up, and I don't know if you can see, but what's interesting about this level is the design. We've got a pivot point over here, and then we've got this adjustment knob right here, and that's spring loaded, so we can actually adjust this on the fly. And this one's in very, very good shape. I don't think this was ever used, but it turns out this is actually quite an expensive little model. Well, I was just looking to see if I could find a number on here, and I can't. I apologize, I can't remember what they call this level, but I don't think this is a regular 98, or if it is a 98, it's a variation on the 98 that makes it unique, and that's why this is actually a pretty collectible level amongst those who collect levels, which, hey, that might not make so much sense to some people, but you know what? If people can collect tractor seats and poker chips from casinos, I don't see why they can't collect vintage precision levels, right? So the only other thing I bought that day that I bought the level was he had his little junk table in the middle there where he just fills with all kinds of stuff, and that's actually a big hit there. Guys come there first thing and they just grab little plastic bins and pick through it, and every once in a while I'll find something that catches my eye. So he was down to $2 an item on the junk table, and I came across this Arrow brand pop rivet gun, and I'm not even sure if it works, but I figured for $2 I'd take a chance on it because I have a pop rivet set that I had bought at an estate sale that looked brand new, and the darn gun like immediately stopped working. So I figured, well, I'll take a chance, and then I noticed it's got the little nozzle here, or whatever you call it, the nose piece for one size, and the other one, which they screw into this spot right here just for storage, is actually present. So lots of times when you find these, one of these will go missing. So this one's got both of them, and not only that, inside the handle, if you can see it right there, take it out, there's actually the wrench to change these is stored inside the handle. So I thought, oh, that's kind of neat that hasn't gone missing either. So might as well check this real quick. All right, just had to switch these two because the rivet that I happen to grab is an aluminum one, and it's a little larger size. That's it, it's a success. Well, that's good. I don't know if this is going to fit inside the case of that other one. So the very next week, I'm watching his video again, and he's going through and showing things that came in, and he goes past this item, and he makes reference to it, kind of just you know, nonchalantly. Doesn't really give me a really good look. I had to pause the video to try and figure out what the heck it was exactly. Still wasn't exactly sure. Did some searches on the internet to try and narrow it down. He was asking $65, so I decided that I would go take a look at it in person, and if I liked what I saw, I would buy it. So I ended up buying it. I'll give it a few seconds, because right now there are some people who took one look at this and went, oh yeah, I know exactly what that is. And then there's several of you who are probably like myself, and if you weren't told right away, because this is exactly how he had it on his table for sale. Okay, so I'll give you a first hint is it's upside down. But this is the best way to store it when you've got it on display to sell it. So what this is called a Vise lift, which I didn't even know such an animal existed. This particular one I think he said it was made by a German company, which led me to believe that it was one particular brand which still makes these. There's a German company that still makes these, but it turns out this one is actually made by a different company. So this is a a Schlegel Vise lift. So it's Schlegel Vise lift. Before I get too far off and I forget, I just want to mention, here's something I thought was really kind of cool. There's a little tiny sticker right here on this handle, and it actually says, I think it either says KIP or KNIPP, West Germany, and it's got a very distinct little kick out on the top of the K, and I recognize that is the same logo that's on the handle on the little metal shear that I bought a while back. So my theory is that this company here actually makes these handles. I'm sorry, did I say shear? I meant brake, box brake or whatever they call it. But I couldn't find a maker on this, and the only markings I could find were on these little handles right here. There's actually a, right there, there's a little logo. You can actually see right there. There's a little triangle. It's got the same little name inside that triangle. I don't think that that's the manufacturer of the brake. I think it's a I think it's just a manufacturer company that does castings, maybe. I don't know. Although this isn't cast, so yeah, whatever. Oh yeah, so I just looked at it on the magnification, and it clearly looks like it's KIRR. I just Googled that, and apparently that's the name of an island on the Baltic coast of Germany. That's interesting. So anyways, this is a Vise lift, and what this is something that you bolt this part right here to your bench. So you bolt it up onto your bench like so, okay? And then to this plate, you bolt your vise. Now, this company, Schlegel, actually makes a vise, or made a vise that would probably fit on here perfectly. So this has never been used. You can tell this is actually brand new old stock because there are no holes that have ever been drilled into this plate. I can't decide whether or not I want to mount this thing and drill this for one of my vices that I own now, or do I want to hold out for the perfect vise to go on here, or do I want to forego one altogether and just resell this thing? Because I think this was undervalued at 65 bucks, quite frankly. And I think the reason why it was only 65 is because it's almost impossible to find another one exactly like it. There was one that sold at a municipal auction or some online auction at a company or something, and it happened to sell, and it sold for like 100 and, I don't know, 140 or 160 bucks or something like that. So what this does is you've got this post, and inside here there's a well, it must be a spring mechanism, and essentially what this does is this allows you to have your vise on your bench at a low level, and with the release of this lever, which I'll do slowly, the spring will cause this to lift the vise up. So now you can imagine the vise is that much higher up in the air. I don't know if the camera's even at the right angle now, but you can see it basically lifts your vise up. So it's more of an ergonomic type of device. You know, if you're doing repetitive work in a shop environment and you need the vise down low sometimes and then you need it up higher sometimes, that's what this is basically for. The fancy schmancy ones also allow the vise to be swiveled when this is released, and this one apparently does the same. So that's kind of nice, because it's a lot easier to release this arm right here, this tension arm, a lot easier to release that than it is to release the small little arm on the sides of most swivel mounted vices. So I don't know what the ideal weight should be for the vise on here. There's usually a range. So if you look at like the modern versions of these that are still available on the market, they'll usually have a weight range for the vise that they consider to be ideal for this thing to work properly. I don't know what this one is, so I would probably just temporarily mount a vise on there, and if I like the way it acts, then I would go through the trouble of drilling it and permanently mounting it. I apologize for the lighting, but this is really the only candidate I have right now. This is an old industrial, it's a bullet style vise. I honestly don't remember if I even knew whoever made this vise, but it's marked. There's a upside down triangle right here that looks like it's got a CI in it. And then it's marked over here, it's 4.5. It's got the pipe jaws, and then it's got the removable jaws on it. It's got the little anvil area there. Marked industrial. It is a swivel. It's actually a pretty nice vise. It served me well. I have a larger one, but I think the larger one I have will actually be too heavy for this. So I might just mount maybe that one right there on this thing. I don't know. Oh, we'll have to see down the road. I haven't really decided yet what I'm going to do. Yeah, who knows? Maybe that CI is Columbia Industrial or something like that. So maybe it's just a Columbia vise, but it's in the industrial line or something like that. I have no idea how old that is. I don't even remember where I bought that thing. I've had it for a long, long time. And I'll tell you, it's never cracked. I've beaten on that thing pretty well. So it must be good old iron. So this past week marked the 2 weeks since I had bought the level. So I knew that I had to go back this week to see if he had found the box. In fact, I actually spied the box sitting off to the side of his cash register area there when I was watching the latest video. So I knew. I said, I bet you that's my box. So sure enough, when I got there, he showed it to me and gave it to me, and I was like, oh, that's great. And then I was looking around and didn't really find too much I was interested in, but I spotted these tap wrenches, and I decided to grab, even though I've got quite a few of these size tap wrenches or similar to it, I decided to grab these because what I liked about these are ratcheting tap wrenches. So this one is marked Bay State number T13, okay, and what you've got is this little handle right here, okay, so ratchets in that direction, flip it over to the other side, ratchets the other way, and then if you put it in the middle, it locks it so it's like a regular T-handle tap wrench. So I thought that was kind of neat. And then I spotted this one. Clearly is marked right on it, Taiwan, so I knew this was a cheapo Chinese one, but it looks brand new. It looks like it's in great shape, and what I kind of liked about this one was it has these funky versatile handles, so you can actually spread it out and get more leverage on the tap, or you can move them out of the way if you've got a tight space situation. And he only had $7 on this thing, so I decided I'd get it. I think I found this in the Eastwood catalog, this same exact tap wrench. I think it's $15 brand new or something like that, or 15 or 16. But the thing looks brand new. I don't think it's ever been used, and it actually works really nice and smooth. Oh, this is a ratcheting one also, in case I didn't mention it already. But it actually seems to work pretty well. And this little Bay State, I paid $9 for this. Guess he figured this was more valuable because it had a more made in USA sounding name, although I have no idea where this is made. It says Bay State, but I wouldn't necessarily believe that. And then when I left there, I headed over to Harbor Freight and made my last purchase for the week regarding tools and everything, and that's these Vulcan Master Welder Series TIG gloves. Because I've been playing around with the TIG welder. You guys have that follow my channel regularly, you know the whole saga there. As a matter of fact, I'm going to get ready to probably do some more work on it tomorrow having some problems with the high frequency, but that's another story. Check out that series if you'd like. If you like the video, please hit the like button. Also, I suggest that, if you want, subscribe, because you never know. I'm inching my way towards the 5,000 subscriber mark. Turns out that's not going to mean a hell of beans to most people, but it's just going to be a personal milestone for myself. These gloves, by the way, I paid $9.99 plus tax for them at Harbor Freight. I was debating whether or not to get these, but they actually came pretty well reviewed. And the funny thing is, I found these same exact gloves being sold by somebody on eBay for $24.95, if you can believe it. Only in America. Only in America could you take these cheap TIG gloves and get more than twice. Of course, maybe they never sell any on eBay. I don't know. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.